Your calendar is packed. Your team is exhausted. And somehow nothing is actually different after the call. Decisions evaporate the moment the meeting ends. The loudest voice becomes the truth for 10 minutes. Then the next meeting rewrites it. Action items get typed, nodded at, and quietly buried. Nobody owns the outcome, so everyone owns the conversation. Meetings can feel productive while they actively prevent progress. If that stings, good. Because the fix starts when you stop confusing attendance with responsibility. Moving to slide 2. A meeting full of smart people is not the same as a meeting with a job assigned. When you stack 10 attendees into one call, you usually get 10 angles and 0 ownership. Topics blend into noise because nobody is responsible for keeping the thread tight. People dodge hard calls by hiding behind "we should align" or "let's get consensus," which is often just fear dressed up as process. Then recency bias takes over.
Whoever spoke last or sounded most confident becomes the default path.
If you want meetings that move work forward, you need roles, not just invites. One of those roles is the person who can actually make the call. Moving to slide 3. Role 1 is the decider. Not the most senior person in the room. Not the person who talks the most. One name, one call. Before the meeting, you write that name at the top of the agenda, and you say it out loud in the first 30 seconds. That single step changes how people speak. They stop performing, and they start informing. Your job as decider is to define decision criteria before you debate solutions. What are you optimizing for? Speed, cost, risk, quality, customer impact. Pick the top 2, because if you pick 5, you picked none. Then during discussion, you actively stop endless debate by separating facts from preferences. Ask for the missing evidence. Park opinions that do not change the outcome. You also accept trade-offs publicly. Say what you are giving up and why that is acceptable. That creates trust, even with people who disagree. Then you commit to a checkpoint. Not "we'll revisit later." A date, a signal, and what would make you reverse the decision. A decider is not a dictator. A decider is a closer who makes the team's next hour count. Moving to slide 4. If you are the decider, you can run almost any decision through 5 questions. First, what must be true for this to work? List the assumptions you are betting on, in plain language. If you cannot say them, you cannot test them. Second, what can we tolerate if we are wrong? Define the acceptable downside. How much cost overrun, delay, churn, or support pain is survivable? This prevents perfectionism from stalling you. Third, what will we measure? Pick one primary success metric and one guardrail metric. If you choose 10 metrics, you chose none. Tie each metric to a specific time window, like 2 weeks after launch or the first 50 customers. Fourth, what is the fallback if the metric misses? Name the rollback, the plan B, or the containment step. "We'll figure it out" is not a fallback. Fifth, who is affected next? Identify the next team, customer group, or dependency you are pushing onto, and how you will inform them.
When you can answer these quickly, you earn the right to decide quickly.
Moving to slide 5. AI is useful here because it does not get tired, intimidated, or swept up in the room's vibe. Right after the meeting, you feed it the transcript or your notes and ask for 5 outputs. 1. Extract a single decision statement that starts with "we will." If it cannot produce that sentence, you did not decide. 2. Flag the missing success metric.
If the notes mention outcomes but no measurement, AI will call it out.
3. List the assumptions people stated, including the quiet ones like "engineering can do this in a sprint," or "sales will be fine with it." 4. Surface unresolved dependencies. If someone said "legal needs to review" or "data needs an event," AI can turn that into a named blocker with an owner. 5. Build a decision log entry. Date, decider, criteria, metrics, checkpoint, fallback, and who is affected next. That log is how you stop meetings from rewriting history. It forces real accountability. And once the decision is locked, the room needs someone to protect the process just as hard. Moving to slide 6. Role 2 is the process referee. This is the person or function that protects the meeting's boundaries so the work actually gets done. You hold the agenda line. If someone drifts into a different topic, You interrupt politely and bring it back. If the group starts looping, you name it. We're repeating points. Let's choose a path. You call decision checkpoints, even when the conversation feels unfinished, because time is a constraint, not a suggestion. You balance airtime by inviting quieter voices in and limiting monologues without shaming anyone. And when conflict shows up, you label it calmly, so it stops running the meeting from the shadows. A good referee does not add heat. They add structure, and structure creates momentum. Moving to slide 7. Here are referee rules that actually work in real meetings. First, one topic per time box. If the agenda says 12 minutes, you do 12 minutes. At minute 10, you ask one question. Are we deciding, extending, or parking it? Then you move. Second, options only, no essays. When someone starts a long explanation, you redirect. Give me 2 or 3 options with a 1-sentence trade-off each. If the group needs detail, you assign it as follow-up, with an owner and a deadline. Third, disagree, then commit. You invite dissent early, but once a decision is made, you lock it in. People can note risks, but they stop re-litigating. That preserves trust and speed. Fourth, use a parking lot with an owner. Parking something is not ignoring it. It means we capture it, assign who will take it, and define what done looks like. Finally, do a decision check every 10 minutes. What did we decide? What is still open? And who owes the next step? Run that cadence, and the meeting starts to feel almost self-driving. Moving to slide 8. AI can act like a lightweight referee while you stay focused on content. It can alert you when the conversation drifts from the agenda. It can show talk time stats, so you notice who is dominating and who is missing. It can flag repeating points, keep a live list of unanswered questions, and auto-capture parking lot items with owners. Used well, it reduces friction without replacing your judgment, and it creates room for a different kind of rigor. Moving to slide 9. Role 3 is the evidence keeper. This is the person who protects decisions from being built on vibes. They track what is a claim versus what is a fact. When someone says, customers hate the new flow, the evidence keeper asks, which customers, what signal, and from when? They request a source and a date, because stale truth is still stale. They separate patterns from anecdotes, so one loud story does not outweigh the data. They maintain metric definitions, so the team is not arguing with different meanings of conversion, churn, or active user. And they update the decision record, so months later you can see what you believed, what you chose, and why. When evidence is handled well, debates get shorter, and decisions get better. Moving to slide 10. AI support for evidence keeping starts with claim tagging. As you talk, it can label statements like, X causes Y, customers prefer, or this will increase revenue, and attach them to the transcript. Then it can add confidence and recency flags. High confidence might mean backed by a dashboard, a study, or a repeated internal result. Low confidence might mean one conversation or a gut feeling. Recency matters too, because last quarter's churn drivers may not be this quarter's. It can also auto-link internal dashboards or docs when a metric is mentioned, so the team can verify quickly instead of debating from memory. If 2 people make conflicting claims, it can highlight the contradiction and list what evidence would resolve it. And when the team keeps tripping over terms, it can suggest a metrics glossary entry, including the exact formula and data source, so the definition becomes stable. You still decide what to trust, but the evidence trail stops disappearing, and that alone changes how teams think and choose. Moving to slide 11. When the 3 roles work together, meetings stop being debates and start producing decisions. The decider owns the call. Not the loudest voice, not the most senior person in the room by default, the person explicitly accountable for the outcome. The referee protects the process. They keep time, prevent side quests, and make sure everyone gets heard before the call is made. The evidence keeper protects reality. They bring the data, name assumptions, and challenge fuzzy claims. Then AI becomes shared memory. It captures what was actually said, extracts decisions, actions, and open questions, and removes the temptation to rewrite history later. Judge success by outcomes, not meeting vibes. If nothing changes after the meeting did not work. Get the roles right. Moving to slide 12. For your very next meeting, set it up so the decision is unavoidable. Put one decision statement at the top of the invite, written as a choice, not a topic. Name the 3 roles in the invite, with 1 person per role. If nobody is assigned, you are choosing chaos. Turn on an AI transcript, then have it extract, in the same format every time, the decision, the owner, the due date, and any open risks. Store the decision log in one central place that everyone can find without asking. Then close the loop within 24 hours. Send the extracted actions to each owner and ask for a simple confirm or correct. That one step kills silent misalignment and turns talk into commitments that move work forward. Moving to slide 13. End clean. Do a decision readback in 1 sentence, then name the metric and the next checkpoint date. Capture the top risks and a mitigation owner for each, while everyone is still present. If you want more systems like this, subscribe and comment the worst meeting you have ever sat through in 1 sentence so we can fix the pattern. Technology changes fast. Great systems last.